We see you getting after your fitness goals. But what about those money goals? You can count on Credit Karma for a clear view of your finances and your progress, helping you see results so you can keep checking off those financial personal bests and find your way to money. Progress never felt so good. Download the Intuit Credit Karma app and start achieving your money goals today. Intuit Credit Karma. Karma you can count on.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of When Reality Hits. Today, I have my bestie on, Miss Kristen Doute.
Hello, hello.
Hi, Kristen. Thanks for being here today.
Oh, I couldn't wait.
Before we get into the drama of it all, I want to ask how you're feeling and how you're doing.
I'm good. I feel really tan, so
Yes.
I'm happy. I got a tan in the Bahamas, and being tan just always makes me feel hotter and better about myself.
Same.
Talking about exceeding external validation. No, but I actually feel really good. The second trimester is a lot easier than the first. Since I've been on Lexapro, which I talk about on my podcast, random, but like since I started taking my anti-anxiety medication, like the pregnancy has shifted it tremendously for me. And I think it probably just gets easier, right? Like once the hormones calm down and
and you also had extra hormones because you were doing the shots and all the things and everything in the beginning. So
crazy.
You had like a teenage boy times 10.
Yes.
You know?
Totally. And like now I can feel her kick and it's just like all the cool stuff's happening.
Yes.
And I still have energy, which I heard is probably going to go away in the next few weeks when I get like really big and really, really pregnant looking. But right now I have like energy and I'm trying to work out, like once or twice a week, at least like twice a week.
Yeah, her and Jenna are coming over and
Brittany's
using my gym, and I love it. I need to get in there more myself.
It's so good. I love your gym. It's like
it's so girly.
welcoming.
It's girly.
But yeah, so I'm feeling pretty good. I'm excited.
So has like the nausea and stuff. Is it going away for you?
No, the nausea came back, but it's like I just know what to do. You pop a Zofran.
Yeah.
Chew on ice. Like that's my other thing. I'm like chomping on ice. Like my life fucking depends on it.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
But
do you have it every single day? Like, do you feel nauseous and do you actually like throw up or do you just feel nauseous?
Mostly just nauseous, but I do get sick in the morning sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like this weird hunger pain that like immediately makes me sick. So I'm really just like, sorry guys. I'm just like throwing up water basically or like dry heaving a lot in the morning. And then I have to like figure it out. And I'm like, okay, bananas really help. Randomly protein smoothies from like Robex, like banana strawberry.
Oh my God,
smoothies.
Robex! I was on. I'm from the South, so I'm like acai. I don't know how you say it.
Acai.
But that was something that I had to have like almost every single day.
Yeah, it really helps, like strangely. So I've shifted to those away from my McDonald's Coke that I was having every single day.
That was probably upsetting your stomach worse, and you didn't realize it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think like once in a while it's great, but like the acidity and I think all the sugar, I was like haywire on sugar.
Yeah, but sometimes when you feel like you have no energy and you're nauseous, normally that's what would make you feel better.
Totally.
If you're not pregnant. Trust me, I went through the whole nauseous thing,
I know you
sickness the whole time. So I just hope that it's not going to be like that for you.
I'm taking a page out of your book because I remember when I would be like, oh my God, you don't feel good again. You're like, no, but you would have like lots of options of food because you weren't sure what was going to help at what time.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, I'm like mimicking that where I'm like, sometimes I want the cold crunchy salad and sometimes I want cereal and sometimes I want French fries.
Yeah.
But sometimes those things make me sick and I want soup.
Yeah.
It's like very weird.
Oh,
so I just want a buffet.
Yeah, same. I think that me being pregnant, is why I order how I order food now.
Yeah.
Like I order so many different things on the menu and eat
try a little bit of each
a
one.
little bit of every single little
That's
thing.
why you're a fun dinner date.
I'm like, let's get all the appetizers. Let's try everything. Let's just share everything instead of us just having our own individual meals.
Yeah.
So Kristen just got back from the Bahamas.
Yes.
How was that?
It was so fun.
That was your baby moon.
It was my baby moon. And it was so funny because I just started watching Southern Charm not that long ago, the
new season. Yeah.
And I hadn't watched it I haven't backtracked, so I haven't seen many seasons.
Yeah,
but I just wanted to start watching it because I ran out of TV shows. And what's airing right now is them at the same resort at Baha Mar that you've been to.
Yeah, I went to.
So one night we were watching TV because I go to bed early, and we randomly turned on Bravo, and we're watching the cast of Southern Charm at Baha Mar while we're in our room at Baha Mar. And I was like, this is so weird and like, it's not Inception, but like, you know.
I know what you mean, but I can't think of it either. I'm like,
morning brain.
Yeah.
But anywho, but it was so fun. We got to like feed flamingos, just the two of us, and like, you know, be so up close and personal with them, which was really fun. I got my tan. We gambled. I won some money on a slot machine. That was exciting.
Heck yeah. Did you do Wheel of Fortune?
Wheel of Fortune. I lost $100 in like 13 seconds. Oh my
gosh. That's what happens to me every time I try.
But I found another little slot that we were like, there was like 6 of them in a little carousel. And so we would just like stick our money in, win some, take it out, go to the next one, and like go around in circles.
And that's how you won? Uh-huh. Oh my gosh. Well, good for you.
So anyway, it was super fun. I'm glad we got to go on a vacation. I've never been to the Bahamas. I had not been out of the country in over 2 years because my passport expired, and it's been expired for 1.5 years. I had to rush a new passport.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and it doesn't it's not as easy as people think.
No, it was very expensive, and it took like 3 weeks, which was great, but it was expensive.
And you rushed it.
Because I was lazy and just had it on my calendar and my to-do list. Like,
so yours just expired?
Expired 1.5 years ago.
Oh, goodness. Oh, gosh. When does mine expire? Oh, I feel like mine might say like 2026, but I need to check it now.
Yeah.
Because I actually did this whole thing the other day, and I was talking, and I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to like kill 2024. And I was just saying 2024, it's going to be the best year. I'm going to make sure that I'm on top of things in 2024. And then I get done, and they're like, Brittany, it's 2025. And I was like, what? And I like couldn't even like comprehend that. I was like, wait, what? It's 2025? Like, I should know that. It's like, it's obvious. Yeah. I wore the glasses on New Year's Eve, did all the things, but I still am like, it just doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
It just doesn't sound right.
I agree. It's hard for me to write it on checks. I don't write checks very often.
Checks.
But I've messed up a handful of checks that I've written.
Yeah, same. That's what was happening to me. And I'm like, why do I still feel like it's 2024? Whatever.
Is it like that every year? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think it's the 25 of it all that's making it like weird.
Yeah, that is really fucking weird.
Okay.
Get to the nitty gritty of it all.
So I wanted Kristen to be on today's podcast because, as we've all seen, Jax was just on Alex Baskin's Bravo's Hot Mic podcast. And, you know, there's just a lot to discuss from that. I've got so many notes and so many things that I could say about that episode. But I feel like I needed to have Kristen on because she's known Jax even longer than I have. So she's seen the behaviors and his excuses and things like that for a long time. And I know she has my back always as well. She's my girl. So I just felt like she was the perfect person to talk about this with.
I'm not here just to like bash Jax.
Oh, no.
It's not my place to. But I told Brittany like right when I got here after I'd listened to the Hot Mic podcast, I finished it this morning, and I said, you know, Brittany, if I were you and that were my ex-husband, like, I can't even imagine the amount of fucking notes that I would have written down.
Yeah.
And now coming from me as someone who has fought with Jax, pretty sure I'm still blocked by Jax on Instagram, but and I love him dearly. Like, I really do care about his well-being.
Of course.
I know
we all do.
Even he gets like, I know when this comes out, my texts are going to go off and he's going to get all mad at me. And I say the same thing every time. I tell him, your feelings are valid. No one can take away your feelings. You can be jealous. You can be hateful. You can be angry, sad. You can be all of the above. Your actions are not validated.
Yeah.
You can't just do or say whatever you want without consequences.
Exactly.
You can feel it.
But he's had that for so long where he didn't have consequences for his actions.
And he says that. There are some things he admits to. There's just some things that don't quite fit.
That don't quite add up.
Yes.
So that's another thing I want to say before we get into this is like, no one wants Jax to be better more than I do.
100%.
Like, let's be real. I've tried and tried and tried for years and years to help this man get better and for us to be a happy family. I was deeply, madly in love with him. There's nobody that could ever deny that, you know. My love was real, and I tried very, very hard to make sure that, especially after we had our son, that he was getting the help he needed. And so I want to start with the very beginning of why he had to go to rehab for the second time in the first place. Mm-hmm. Kristen knows because I think you might have came over that night.
I was over the next day.
The next day, yeah. So another reason why
I was over the next day, and then the day after that is when I recorded my Hot Mic podcast.
Oh, yes.
And I was dragging Jax because then when really quick to back up, when mine came out, and I was not even that bad about him, but he was like, "How could you say that? How could you say that?" And I go, "Jax, with what I know from the other day, I would have hit you with my car."
And it's what happened right before.
Right. It's what happened the incident in the car with you and Cruz.
Yes. Yeah.
So anyway, I was reacting to the way I felt about that day, and I was nice.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Okay. So let's get into what actually happened. Jax did tell some of the story, but he didn't tell the whole truth. So the night before, I could tell that Jax was out and he was partying, and I knew what that meant. And let's all remind each other that he had already been in rehab the first time for the full 30 days. And, you know, I knew he wasn't doing better. I feel like I was very vocal about that things had not changed, and it hadn't. And, so the night before, Cruz had a doctor's appointment, and we had to leave the house at 10:30. So I was being nice, and I was like, if you want to come to the doctor's appointment, be at my house by 10:30, blah, blah, blah. Well, then he started sending me a bunch of awful messages and being rude to me the night before. And I said, I can tell you're out. I can tell you're partying. Please do not come to my house tomorrow. Please do not show up. I can go to this doctor's appointment by myself. I just don't feel like it's going to be good for you and I. He shows up anyway the next morning, even though I told him not to. And our doctor is in Beverly Hills. At certain times a day, that can take you over an hour to get there. So I'm like, we have to go. We have to go. We have to be there at a certain time. And I kept being like, are you hungover? And of course, he just lies and denies and, just will never admit what he did the night before, even though I can see telltale signs on his face.
And you know when he's lying.
I know when he's lying.
Knows that you know
he's
lying. So
but he still was like, I'm coming. This is my son. I'm coming. That was the whole thing. This is my son. I'm coming too.
Which is also how you know that he's hungover coming down, which he said on the podcast too. So we're not putting words in his mouth, but his lack of patience is
it's awful.
Infinity.
Yeah,
and
it's awful.
Snapping at you.
So we finally get into the car and we're on our way. And even though I didn't want to, I promise you, I did not want to. I knew that was a mistake as soon as I got in the car. So we're in the car, and before anything happens, he's just coming down on me about the bar opening, being like, it's his bar, just screaming at me over all kinds of things before any guy ever texted my phone, because he mentions on the podcast that my phone was plugged in to the GPS, which it was, and a guy texted me, which all that's true. But he was already in a horrible mood and already fighting with me and making me cry before that ever even happened. Let me make that clear. Before a guy ever texted my phone, he was already at my throat. He was already making me cry. And I was in the car for at least 30 minutes at that point. I kept, we almost pulled over so I could get out and call an Uber and put me and Cruz in an Uber. It was bad. So then whenever this guy texts my phone, his name pops up on, the screen in the car. He loses it. He starts trying to grab my phone, and Cruz is in the back seat in his car seat. That alone is horrible. So he's reaching over, grabbing my phone, yelling at me, saying all this stuff. Then he starts saying the most despicable things you could ever say to your ex, talking about other girls, talking about how they're going. I mean, I don't want to go into too much details.
It's really bad.
But
just imagine
the worst things a guy could say about being with other girls in front of the girl that they were married for 10 years to, or in a relationship with for 10 years. Yeah. So he's doing all this, and we finally get to the place. I'm bawling, crying, and I'm like, please do not come upstairs. Please do not come upstairs to the doctor's office. I already knew that I was calling an Uber on the way home. Like, there was no doubting that. I'm never getting in a car with that man again. I go upstairs. We're in the doctor's office. 5 minutes later, Jack shows up, and he walks into our room, yelling at me, screaming at me. And then the doctor walks in, and he puts on this face like everything's fine, and you know, doesn't act like anything's wrong, and we're doing everything for Cruz. I'm even smiling, going along with it, because I don't want this is embarrassing. This is our doctor's appointment. Every time the doctor's left, why is this guy texting you? What is going on? Blah blah blah. Like, would not drop it. Would not drop it. Would not stop letting me down. Would not stop like coming on to me. And I was just like, this is horrible. This is horrible. Finally, the doctor's the visit is over. I take an Uber home. I come home to my house, and I'm like, you're not coming in here. We Uber, follow behind, do the drop off with Cruz, lock the doors. Cruz is in the house. Thank God my nanny was here, because she was like cleaning that day or something. She's literally the best person ever. I love her. She's my family. But she was here that day, and Jax walks around to the back. Well, I have like a sliding door, and he just lets himself in, and I'm like, you cannot be in here. It was a really, really, really bad situation. I'm trying not to give too many details but just imagine like
just the amount of stress.
Yes. And Zuli, who's my nanny, she like comes over and like stands in front of me, and she's like, you have to leave. So he finally leaves. And that's also whenever he got into that hit and run. Mm-hmm. And that was the very same day after he left this house. So there was just so much stuff piling on top of it. When Reality Hits is sponsored by J.Lo Beauty. Have you seen those memes lately about how guys versus girls wash their face? Why are guys so aggressive with how they wash? And why do they use the same bar of soap on their face that they use on their feet? I will never understand. What I do understand and love is J.Lo Beauty's simple, hardworking skincare routine. You can get that J.Lo glow with J.Lo Beauty's Deluxe Kit, the one and done skincare solution clinically proven to boost your skin's radiance and luminosity for an immediate and lasting glow. My favorite product right now is that Blockbuster Hydrating Cream. My skin is so much more plump and dewy, and I see why 100% of the people from an 8-week clinical study who tried it had smoother skin. And I love the container. I leave my JLo Deluxe Kit out on my dresser on display. It's so chic and affordable. So try that JLo Beauty Deluxe Kit for 60 days. If you're not completely satisfied, just return the bottles, even if they're empty, and get your money back. Get the only skincare routine you'll ever need. Head to jlobeauty.com/realityhits to receive 20% off plus 3 free limited time offer gifts. Head to jlobeauty.com/realityhits for 20% off and 3 free limited time offer gifts. $175 value. jlobeauty.com/realityhits. I love it.
Imagine an app designed to make you use it less. Seems counterproductive, no? Well, Apartments.com's Instant Alert feature works exactly that way. Instead of scanning rental listings a million times a day, simply set and forget your search to whatever you're looking for in a place and let Apartments.com do the rest. From pet-friendly apartments to balconies to in-unit ACs, Apartments.com's powerful search tools let you know when the perfect combination of features you're seeking is listed. So you don't have to power through rental descriptions one by one. With more rental listings than anywhere else. Apartments.com's instant alerts mean you can spend less time online looking for the perfect place and more time doing you. Apartments.com, the place to find a place.
So what I did is I called his sister, my manager, my publicist, and Alex Baskin. And I called all of them, and I was like, this is horrible. He has not changed whatsoever. He's trying to act like in public that he's this like mental health advocate and he's this and that and he's so much better and he's, you know, giving all these excuses and doing all these like victim mentality things. And I was like, it's not fair. I was like, I am being yelled at and this is a struggle on my everyday life. I was like, something has to be done. So on the podcast, Jack says that he looked in the back seat and realized that Cruz was there, and that's why he had to go. That's not true. And I don't care. I'm going to call that out.
Yeah.
If I hadn't called all of these people and Alex Baskin and his job
demanded like an intervention.
Yeah, an intervention. If his job wasn't threatened yet again, like it was the first time around, he would not have went. Mm-hmm. And it made me very upset that he tried to act like, oh, I saw Cruz in the back seat. And I was like, that's whenever I had to go.
Because it's a good story. But the bottom line for you as your best friend is he didn't and couldn't and he could not and he did not do it for you or Cruz.
No.
And that's what was a huge like anchor of like pissing you off, upsetting you, making you heartbroken.
Yeah.
It was like, how could you not do it for us, but you could do it for this?
Yeah.
And so when you hear that and people are like, oh, he did it for his son, and then you're just like, fuck you.
No, it's like, no, that's absolutely not true. That's not true. He denied he had a problem. And even the night before, more truths I'm going to spill because this was over the holidays. So I was having a Thanksgiving. I always host like a Friendsgiving on Thanksgiving. And I was terrified that he was going to show up uninvited to my house because he kept saying, that's my house. I'll come if I want to. Stuff like that, even though it's not. So he says, you know, that he was going to show up. So I was so scared. So getting everybody involved and him thinking that he might lose his job and this and this and that, he decides to check into a actual rehab facility. Finally, like starts kind of saying...
Which is different than the first place.
Which is different than the first place.
The first place was more of like a mental health facility.
Yes. First place was a mental health facility, which I desperately wanted him to go to too. You will see that on season 2 of The Valley, like how that came along. But I can only talk about things that are happening recent. Mm-hmm. But for the second time, we were like, you need to go in not only for mental health, but you need to, you know, say something about how you have an addiction to cocaine. Mm-hmm. And, you know, he fought it. I don't have a problem. I only do it when I'm drinking. I don't have a problem. This and this and that. Never would admit it. So finally, he gets checked into the first place and leaves after one day. So he leaves. He checks in for one night, leaves on Thanksgiving morning. And I'm getting all these calls while I'm cooking a huge dinner for like 25 of my friends that he's already signed out of rehab after one day. And I was devastated. I'm crying. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the worst. What's going to happen? And ultimately, he goes back to the same place that he went to for the first 30 days, months before. Then he says that he only stayed for 17 days the second time. Failed drug tests at both places. Let's make that clear. But still left early, thought that he had had enough. So this is why I'm very weary of it all. Mm-hmm. Like I said, nobody wants him to be better than I do. But we went through this the first time. 30 days, he was sober, got right out, and started drinking again.
Thinking, I'm going to be cautious because I'm, you know, I do have an addictive personality. I'm not an addict. When I'm not pregnant, I'm not a sober person. So I want to be cautious with my words. And I know you feel the same way, Britt. But like, I will say, as someone who knows Jackson, as someone who has been in therapy, someone who has refused to go to therapy in the past, I have. When he was talking about how he did not need to be there past 17 days. Okay. He's not in a position to make that decision.
Yeah.
One little stint in rehab for 30 days or a mental health facility, months go by, you're not clean, you're angry, you're not doing the work. You go back, 2 weeks is nothing.
No.
That is nothing.
Especially if he's admitting he's been, you know, addicted for 20 years.
Right. And so, yeah, he just wasn't in a position to make that decision. Now, like, you know, I'm proud of him for, I'll say, like, starting at the beginning of the podcast, I had to watch the video.
Yeah.
I couldn't just listen to it because I wanted to, like, look at his face, see his body language, his mannerisms and whatnot.
Yeah.
I can tell how hard it was for him to say those words out loud.
He didn't want to.
No. Oh, 100%.
He didn't want to.
And to say them out loud at all, like, and to say them out loud publicly, like, I'm curious if he owns that, you know, when he's alone. I'm curious if he sits with himself yet, and maybe not yet, but if he even will. Jax, when you're listening to this, I really hope that you will sit alone with yourself and say, I have an addiction and I want to get better. And it's not just like a public for show type thing.
Because doesn't it worry you that he knows that The Valley season 2 is about to come out and that everyone's going to see how bad he was, and it's kind of like
the time is now,
him trying to victimize himself a little bit and try to make himself like sympathy, you know?
It does make me nervous, but I will also say, like, in commending him for admitting this stuff, I think it does hold him accountable.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
You can't take it back.
Yeah.
And so I think that is, like, I give him a huge pat on the back for saying that out loud and holding himself accountable. Because now, if anyone supports the behavior, the drugs, the drinking, God forbid he slips, you know, we hope he doesn't.
Yeah.
But if anyone in his life does, like, that, they're on my hit list.
Yeah. Heck
my
yeah.
hit list, my shit list. Like, I will take you out if you are there to support any bad behavior by him, because what he needs right now is not yes men.
Yes, he does not need that.
Validating all of this bad behavior. He needs real, true friends that are going to be like, it's fucking great that you're sober.
Yes.
Yeah, we can just go to the movies.
Exactly.
We can just do this. We don't have to go out and get fucked up to be cool.
Exactly.
I'll go to that event with you and I won't drink with you.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Because it is really hard. And I know that, I mean, it's so not the same thing, you guys, but like being pregnant, I have a hard time going to like events and stuff around people that are drinking, because not because I like really want to drink, but like it's annoying.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
And so for him,
I went through the same thing. I mean, I was during COVID, so it wasn't as bad, obviously.
Right.
But
and for him, like I think he did word it really well that he's not like in the need of a drink all the time, but he knows that they go hand in hand.
Yeah,
I absolutely do agree with him.
Oh
on
yeah,
that.
for
Like,
sure.
I know he's not an alcoholic, but I do know that it can be really, he still wants to be social. He still wants to go to events. He wants to like go to appearances and things eventually, right? At some point, but he needs to find comfort in, it's okay to do those things sober. And so he just needs an army of true friends, whether it's, and by army, I mean like 3 strong people, not like 20.
Yeah.
That will support him in that way. But he admitted himself that he seeks that fucking validation.
Yep.
He calls the yes people. He calls the girls.
Yep. But the thing is for me, because listen, I really hope that he truly has been sober for these last 83 days, but he's also said to me that he knows exactly how long it takes to come out of his system. So the drug test for the drug testing on every Monday, like, it scares me. So I am drug testing him myself for the safety of my son, and I'm going to continue doing that for a while. But I just feel like it's just so hard, because even if he is sober, his actions have not changed.
I think that's the biggest thing.
And I think that's the hardest. Yeah, that's the hardest thing for me.
He's still angry, and like the anger is still not something he can control.
Yeah.
Or choosing not to control with you.
He's acting like that he can control it, but like, it's not even just with me anymore. It's with like, and he even tried, you know, I feel like he also said this on the podcast, like how he was calling the girls and stuff. But like, I get DMs almost every single week from a different girl sending me disgusting messages that he is sending to them. Who in their right mind would ever want to see that stuff? Yeah. I mean, it's been hard on me, because like, I am trying to move on and get out of this, and I'm getting dragged into all these situations. Like, I don't want to read these messages. No. I don't want to read this nasty stuff that you're saying, these threats that you're saying, these nasty like sexual messages. Like, how in the world does he think that makes me feel? And the fact that these women also think,
the women think like, why would they send that to you?
Why would they send that to me? As soon as he's done love bombing them, and he throws them away, they come into my DMs.
Yep.
And it is so crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I get it, but like, what? Like, Jax also has to stop doing that. Like, you're 45 years old.
Sure. Yeah, you're not
45 years old. Like, it is constant for me, and it's just part of like other reasons why I cannot believe anything that he says or does, because I'm trying to protect my son, and every single day I'm seeing like all these different nasty, horrible messages.
The problem is that like it's like what we heard on this podcast. Like, he's saying all of the right stuff, and he's acting on some of it.
Yeah.
But he's not acting on all of it the way that he's proclaiming that he's acting
Exactly.
on all of it. And that is the fucking frustrating part, I know, for you.
Yes.
And
yeah.
as your friend and as someone who cares about him, but as your best friend, it's like I hear some of this shit and I'm like, oh my God, my fists couldn't get tighter.
Yeah.
Out of fucking frustration.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I think the hardest part too is that like all of this stuff has potential to get better,
Which is all I want.
This doesn't have to be his forever.
Yeah.
Like, I have to believe that. But like the bullshit about therapy,
Yeah.
it's like,
oh, and another, the bullshit about therapy that he goes once a week, also saying on Alex's podcast that he should start outpatient. I thought he'd been on outpatient this whole time.
that's what
So-
outpatient is going to therapy.
Yeah.
It's
So-
not going into a facility. Outpatient.
Yeah. So he told me
said the
straight
same thing
up
3
that
times.
he's going into outpatient, that he's been in outpatient. And then he says, I think I need to go into out. He contradicts himself over and over and over again. He says that he's never yelled at me sober, which is also a lie.
That's a lie.
There are a lot of things that, and I'm not saying I'm perfect. Of course I fight with him. He was my husband. We were together for 10 years. Of course I fought with him too. Of course I said things too.
But nobody, even Brittany, everyone knows that. Like, everyone who's in a fucking relationship knows
Yeah.
that two people fight with two people or
Yeah.
argue or whatever.
Yeah.
But that was the part of the podcast where he shifted.
Mm-hmm.
Everything fucking shifted.
Yep.
The second Alex Baskin said, let's talk about Brittany, or however he
Yeah.
worded it, Jax's voice changed, his body language changed, his energy like shifted.
Yep.
And he suddenly went into this, I treated her this way and admitting blah, blah, blah. And then in the same breath, it was like, I'm sorry, but it
Yeah.
was so much I'm sorry,
Yep.
but
Yep.
it takes two. She did this. No, bro.
Yeah.
You led that tango
Yes.
all by yourself.
Exactly.
You dragged
Thank
her.
you.
You had her like chained to you during that tango that you fucking did to her.
Yeah.
You did nothing but try, and I watched it every day of your relationship, of your marriage. Every day, even during your divorce, the amount of time, like the amount of energy you put in to try to be a good co-parent with him. When he would give for like, let's say 5-6 days and be like the nicest guy ever to you, and you were like, okay, great, finally. It would even make you emotional at times.
Yeah.
Where was this man? This is the fucking man that I thought I was marrying. Where was he?
Exactly.
Oh, but you were never like, oh, should I be with him? You were like, well, that man's gone. This is really unfortunate. So
Yeah.
it upset you. And then it was like he didn't get what he wanted, which was you just falling back into his arms.
Yeah.
So then he would flip. Sober.
Yeah. Sober.
When it comes to grocery shopping and meal planning, I've got this problem. I don't really enjoy cooking, and I'm not very good at it. But I really want to eat healthier, and I want Cruzy to eat healthy when he's with me. So that's where Hungry Root comes in. It's the easiest way for both of us to eat healthy at my house. Hungry Root is like having your own personal shopper and nutritionist all in one. They take care of your weekly grocery shopping, and they recommend groceries and meals tailored to what you like to eat. They make shopping, planning, and cooking really easy. And it's stress-free. All of Hungry Root's recipes can be made in about 15 minutes or less. They've got over 15,000 recipes shipped each week. They also have ready-to-eat meals. Those are my favorite, of course. They come already prepared. You just heat them up and eat. I'm all about the Hungry Root pizza right now. They have really good margarita pizza and an Italian sausage pizza as well. Delicious and fast. I don't have to order and then wait for delivery. I also get a lot of Hungry Root salad kits. Again, easy and delicious, and it's healthy. You're going to love Hungerroot as much as I do. Take advantage of the exclusive offer. For a limited time, get 40% off your first box, plus get a free item in every box for life. Go to hungerroot.com/realityhits and use code realityhits. That's hungerroot.com/realityhits. Code realityhits to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life. That's hungerroot.com/realityhits. Code realityhits. When Reality Hits is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game, shifting a little money here and there, and hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can be a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help you find options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Prices and coverages match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
And for him, like I said, he contradicted himself so many times. He said he never fought with me sober, and that it takes two to tango. And then he's like, "Oh, Alex, Alex was like, how are things with you and Brittany right now?" And he was like, "Well, you talked to her on the phone last night, didn't you? Things aren't great. We had a blow up last night." This is while he's supposedly sober, and I'm only saying supposedly. I hope that he actually is, but I'm just saying everything is not changing.
Right.
Like
you can't blame it all on the substance.
No. And I will support him and be there for him and, as much as I can. But, like, how much more can a person take?
Right.
I've been dragged down and lost all my confidence and everything for so long. I tried to help him for so long.
Yeah.
Tried to get him help way before he went to rehab the first time. And he says on the podcast, while I'm talking about this now, is that my wife said that I'm acting like I'm depressed and I need to go. And he's like, "I tried the pills and they made me." No, he never got that prescription filled. Like, why is he lying? Like, yeah. I tried. It's sat in my junk drawer forever.
Yeah.
And you know that for a fact.
I do. I remember he texted me. Which he did say it was right before filming this season. He texted me like end of May, beginning of June of this past year of 2024, and told me that he got a Lexapro prescription and was asking me, should I take it in the morning? Should I take it at night? Like, how is it for you? Blah, 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 blah. And then on the podcast, he said, well, it didn't work.
Yeah.
Okay, but if he did actually start taking that,
he didn't.
He took it for 30 days.
He didn't.
He
didn't even get the prescription filled.
Yeah.
It sat in my junk drawer. Me and his sister tried to get him to at least try it.
Right.
Just to at least try it, and he did it. And he lied and said that he did.
He said it blatantly on the podcast.
And that's not true. It sat in that drawer, and I begged him to at least try it out.
I know. I mean, you begged him for years. Years and years and years, for sure. And I think the thing that really pissed me off, which Jackson, I'm talking to you too, man. Like, it really, really, really upset me, was in the beginning of talking about you. He, of course, was saying really wonderful things, as he should, but then he said, I respect her. Yeah. I took so much offense for you because that is the problem, is that he's not respecting you.
No. Jax comes first in his own story, his own life. Yeah. He cares about Jax Taylor and Jax Taylor more than anything else. Yeah. And, of course we had good times over the years, and I think that he does, want to be a good father and stuff, but he hasn't shown me that. Like, how am I supposed to trust this man?
All of it too. I think he wants to be kind to you. I don't think he wants to be an angry elf. I don't think he wants to throw tantrums. I don't think he wants any of that or is okay with that behavior anymore. Like, he knows it's not cute anymore, but he's not doing the work.
Exactly. Like, I pray that he continues on the sober path. I pray more than anything. Like, addiction is so hard, but it's also very hard on the people that love you. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that he realizes all the damage that he's done to me over the years, and why I can't look past, and why I feel like he's the boy who cried wolf, and
that's
why
he needs to be in intensive therapy, because those things will come with time. Yeah. Once he learns more about himself and what makes him tick, and really understand, like he says, I have low self-esteem, or like in the modeling days, it was all this like external validation. Mm-hmm. If he were going to therapy, because he says something, I'm a little all over the place, but he says to Baskin, like, he admits that he needs approval, right? That he needs attention. And he's not comfortable being in his own skin. It's hard for him to sit still with himself. I can really relate to the not being comfortable in your own skin and kind of like needing something, whether it's like a person or a drinking or whatever it is, to like make yourself not have to think about shit.
I mean, I can relate to that too, but I don't treat the people in my life disrespectfully and horribly,
100%. Exactly. So it's like, again, what I'm saying is like feelings are valid. Actions related to those, not okay.
Exactly.
And he says, but in that same sentence, he says to Alex, what would you call the need for approval? He asks him that. Well, if you were going to therapy, you would be talking to your therapist about this. So that's what shows me right there. This isn't even a conversation you've started having.
Yeah.
So start having that conversation, because I think a lot of it could stem from being given external validation his whole life. The modeling days, let's say, but even the whole show, this has been like 15 years of our lives almost, right?
Exactly.
That he's been given all this external validation, so now he's constantly seeking it.
And he was always forgiven too, because it was always like, that's just Jax. That's just Jax. That's just him. That's just him. And he was always forgiven. But now I have a beautiful boy in my life, and I'm not letting that stuff fly anymore.
Yep.
I'm not ever again.
No,
and,
you're so strong, Brittany. Like, holy shit.
Thank you. I mean, this has been extremely hard, because it's just like every single day it's the back and forth, the back and forth, the back and forth, and the gaslighting and the manipulation. And, I'm trying, how do you co-parent with somebody like that?
Right.
Like, how do you? And I feel like
navigating it the best you can right now, I think, by unfortunately doing it by yourself for the most part.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He
giving him as much as you trust him with.
Yeah. Which is like the bare minimum right now. And that sucks, but whatever. Like, Cruz is literally the best thing that's ever happened to me. So I will do everything I possibly can. But it's just been hard because, whenever these things come out so publicly, and then, I feel like I get shamed sometimes for like having a reaction. And it's like, we are public figures. And also, like, I know how many women and men who have been in a relationship with somebody who is a narcissist or does struggle with addiction or, is a gaslighter and a manipulator. Like, how many people can relate to what I've gone through? And I feel like it's only fair to speak about it, since we have our lives on a reality TV show.
Oh, yeah. I mean, thousands and thousands of women are going to be listening to this, and I hope can try to follow your lead, and like knowing that their feelings of like trying and sticking around, it doesn't make you a dumb person to stick around and try for your husband or your child's father. Like, you tried and tried and tried, but also knowing how healthy it is to walk away.
Yes. Yeah.
When you need to, and be strong for yourself.
I mean, I'm so glad that I found the strength to walk away. That was like one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, because it's so hard to leave somebody when you're still love them, like that's the hardest thing ever. But Jax's come downs were so incredibly horrible. And now I can openly say, like, why I had to leave in the first place is because he was just having these horrible come downs. He was going out more and more after the bar opened. He was just going out more and more and more. And he said himself that drinking and using cocaine went along with each other. So that meant I was dealing with these come downs almost 4 to 5 times a week, and I couldn't handle it anymore. Whenever I had to move out the very first time, Kristen, we could finally talk about it.
I know. That had to be so. Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, like the stuff you've had to like kind of cover up or make excuses for.
Because I couldn't say. I mean, cocaine's illegal. It's not like I could just be like,
my husband does drugs. Right?
No. And I tried to get him to stop, especially after we had our son. So for me, like, okay, so me and Kristen went out to dinner. This is before I moved into the first Airbnb, and I'm glad I can finally talk about this. Me and Kristen went out to dinner. We were home by like 9.
Yeah.
I put Cruz to bed. Me and Cruz were in bed together. Jax went out that night to wherever he went with some of his friends. He didn't come home till like 4 or 5 in the morning, so he slept in the guest room. He runs into my room at 8 a.m. and screaming and just being horrible to me and making up stories about what me and Kristen did the night before. He did not want me to ever tell people what was going on in our relationship. So he knew whenever I was going out with my friends that I was venting to them. So he wakes up and makes up a whole story in his head and says that Luke texted him that I had told Kristen that how bad, I can't remember exactly what it was. I had told,
like talking shit.
Yeah, talking shit and being, and you know,
like Luke told me everything.
Luke told me everything. It was a complete lie.
Yeah.
It was a story he made up in his head. Luke never had texted him about anything.
They hadn't texted in like over a week or something.
Me and Kristen just had a girls' night dinner. I was home by 9 o'clock and in bed with my son. And he came in my room fighting in front of our son. And I said, enough. Either you leave or I leave. And he wouldn't leave. So I packed my bags and I left. And I'm only telling the bare minimum. I mean, it's much worse than what I'm even saying. What goes on behind closed doors, I'm sure you can imagine, is even worse. But that was what I dealt with almost every single day. The come downs. He made up stories in his head almost every single time and made everything so much worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was like,
and you
no.
can't fight with someone who
believes their lies.
And Jax admits to being a liar and a pathological liar. So this isn't us just like, again, shaming someone who's coming out and trying to be sober after a serious addiction. Okay, guys. But the pathological lying of it all, it's like he truly would say it so much he would believe it and then lie upon lie, where he could never backtrack because he didn't know where it even started from.
And even to this day, he's still doing that. Mm-hmm. So this is why I'm having such a hard time. I hope he's sober. I pray that he is sober. But the lying is still continuing. The gaslighting, the everything is still continuing.
The
so
manipulation.
Yeah. So it's extremely hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like the main reason. I mean, not the only reason. Obviously, you know, I tried for years, but that was the last fight before I had to get into that Airbnb, that very first one.
Yeah. And a lot, God, this is going to be a wild journey of the Valley Season 2. I'm just incredibly proud of you for how vulnerable you were. I mean, stripped naked vulnerable. You were this whole summer, in your anger, in your strength, in your heartbreak. Like, you really did just live it out. And I can't imagine being such a strong mom and never wavering, but then also dealing with those emotions the way that you did.
Thank you.
Like, in such a healthy way.
Thank you.
Like, seriously, Britt.
I've been trying, my best. Like, seriously. It's just hard because I don't know, like, what to do next. I really don't.
I know, because you're basically waiting for a curveball.
Yeah, it's like he does good for a little bit, and then a bomb blows up, and everything gets bad again. And it's like over and over and over
3
and over.
steps forward, 10 steps back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, after he got out of rehab the first time, he was 30 days sober. And, like, I was like, even while he was in rehab, I talked about it on my podcast with Alex Baskin. He was sending me awful messages and, yelling at me on a daily basis. And I was like, I could just tell that it wasn't doing anything for him. And then he gets out of rehab and drinks within a week.
Yeah.
So, and I knew this all along. And it's like, this has just been awful for me. I've been trying to figure out how to, like, navigate all this.
There's no handbook. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I mean. That's why I'm just telling you, like, repeatedly how proud I am, because
thank you.
You are, like, it's not insane of you to be nervous about whether or not he's telling the truth or whether or not he's going to falter again.
Yeah.
And that is something that Jax is going to just have to deal with, because this is the mess he's created for himself. You can be proud of him for being sober right now, and also be nervous about it, and he has to be understanding, because he admits to being like, I need this fixed right now person. Like, he needs everything this second. He's very impatient.
Yes,
I understand that, but that's one of the number one things he has to work on, is knowing that an I'm sorry or a quick change does not erase all of the damage that has been done.
Exactly.
And that's going to take so much time. I think the one thing I always try to tell him, which I will keep repeating till I'm blue in the face, is every time he'll be like, well, Kristen, like he'll even text me, Kristen, like I'm trying to be da-da-da. And I'm like, great. But you trying 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 times, it's not enough. No. This has to be a constant way that you live your life now.
Yeah, because every
whether
time
or not she receives that from you or reciprocates, that's not why you're doing it.
Yeah.
You need to do it just because. And I'm like, I always call it a trust bank because I think it's the easiest way for him to like picture this in his mind. And men are like kind of visual people, right? I always say, Jax, there's a trust bank right now. Your trust bank with Brittany is literally such a negative account.
Yeah.
Like you
negative.
have to keep on putting money in that bank to even get it to zero.
Yeah.
And then you can start building that bank account.
There's no trust at all.
Right.
And that sucks. Have you guys heard of Hiya? We have been using these kids vitamins for a while now. Cruz absolutely loves them. I even tasted them to make sure that they are good, and they are so good. He can be a picky eater, so making sure he has his vitamins is so important to me, and Hiya is amazing. Typical children's vitamins are basically candy in disguise, filled with 2 teaspoons of sugar, unhealthy chemicals, and other gummy junk growing kids should never eat. That's why Hiya was created, the pediatrician-approved, super-powered, chewable vitamin. Formulated with the help of nutritional experts, Hiya is pressed with a blend of 12 organic fruits and veggies, then supercharged with 15 essential vitamins and minerals, including vitamin D, B12, C, zinc, folate, and many others to help support immunity, energy, brain function, mood, concentration, teeth, bones, and more. Like I said, Cruz is such a picky eater. Vegetables are not his thing. So knowing that he can take this gummy and still get all the nutrients, all the minerals, vitamin D, B12, C, so many other things, that is so important for me and for his growth. He's 3 right now. He's growing like a weed. I love Hiya. We've worked out a special deal with Hiya for their best-selling children's vitamin. Receive 50% off your first order. To claim this deal, you must go to hiyahealth.com/realityhits. This deal is not available on their regular website. So go to hiyahealth.com/realityhits and get your kids the full body nourishment they need to grow into healthy adults. Try them out, especially if you got little picky eaters. It's so great.
All right, I may not be as funny as Nikki Glazer.
I want to pitch a series of calendars where men are just crying in a therapist's office or punching a pillow and working out their anger towards their dad.
But I do have my moments. I actually have full conversations.
With the moon.
Yes. I try to keep it pretty balanced on this podcast. A little fun dance between comedy, therapy, self-medicating. Oh, and sorry, if you haven't guessed, hi, I'm Caitlin Bristow, host of Off the Vine podcast, where we like to just keep things loose and keep them raw and keep them real, like when we have listeners call in and give confessions.
And then that glass of wine progressed into me becoming a unicorn for them.
But we do, and I promise you this, try to keep it honest and vulnerable. So jump on the wagon, not off, grab your favorite bottle of wine, preferably Spade and Sparrows, and join the Vinos. Have yourself a time. The Off the Vine podcast is available wherever you get your podcasts.
Just
I'm
the
glad you
constant.
get to say your truth.
Yeah.
And get this weight off your shoulders.
I did want to talk about it because it is so public, obviously. And again, please know that I do want him to be sober, and I do hope that it's true.
Absolutely.
And I do hope for nothing for our son that he is better. I cannot express that enough. It's just his actions have not shown me yet, and it's hard for me to believe, but it's going to take a long time.
Yeah.
A very long time. And I think a lot of people who've gone through something like this will understand. Also, there's other things that he said on the podcast that I was like, oh my God. Like, he had the audacity to say that I started talking to Julian before we separated on a public platform. That did not happen. I'm sorry. Like, come on. It was soon after we separated. He was my friend. Like, it was like maybe I like a DM here, like haha or something, but like we were not talking until after the fact. So that kind of upset me too, because I was like, you're really, after all this, still gonna try to say that on a public platform. I get that you're hurt.
Best friend Julian.
Oh, his best friend. Come on, Kristen.
Sorry.
Kristen, can it please come from your mouth instead of mine?
Yeah. Okay. That is the part where I'm just like, okay, this is not Tom Schwartz. He actually, wait, what the fuck did he say? Sorry. He did say to Baskin, he compared Sandoval and I to like Julian. Like he was like, oh, now I know how Tom felt when I don't like bringing this shit up, guys.
Yeah,
but
of
like
course.
he said, like, now I know how Tom felt. No, homie. Not the same thing. Julian was just in the friend group.
Yeah.
You, Brittany, were in fact closer friends with him.
Yeah.
Like I remember every time you'd have like a Halloween party or like a Thanksgiving or whatever, you would always make bags for the kids, all the kids, like Ocean and Summer, and then you would give Julian. He would like stop by and you'd be like, "Oh, here, give this to your kids."
Yeah,
He was just a part of the group.
Yes.
And was he bro-y with Jax? Did they go out and have drinks together in a group? Absolutely. This was not his best friend.
No, not at all.
Was he like pissed off? Like, oh my God, one of my buddies? Absolutely. But was he like, my best friend?
No.
Like, that's my boy. No, dude. You don't have to make it bigger just to like make it that it hurt you.
Exactly.
It can be a complete stranger. And it can still hurt you.
And that's another thing. He said he didn't care who it was. Well, whenever this guy, I'm not going to say his name, texted me in his car, and whenever this whole blow up happened again, it was a guy he's never met in his entire life. It didn't matter who it was.
Right.
But he tried to act like it only mattered if it was Julian. And I'm like, that is not true.
No.
At all. And I'm so glad that I have you here to say that, because I'm sick of it being like, that was my best friend. No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. And after everything you put me through, boo-hoo.
Yeah.
Like, my God.
Sorry, I remember when that first came out, and remember I think I showed you one or two, but people on the internet were like, if he had a brother, I hope Brittany goes after him. I mean, people just have your back.
No, and I that's another thing.
Say,
people, I think so many people have seen through the bullshit and seen through everything, and I really appreciate that. Like it means the world to me. And, like I said, we just try to be as open as we can doing what we do, because hopefully at the end of the day, it will help somebody else get out of a toxic relationship or help them be strong and going through something like this,
Especially all the mamas out there.
Yeah.
I really think you were like someone to really look up to. Like I'm in a healthy relationship, but as a mom to be, watching the way you are with Cruz and just watching you do this by yourself a lot of the time is just like really incredible.
Thank you.
And it makes me a lot less scared.
Yeah,
like,
you're gonna be great.
Like, like I'm excited. I'm all the things, but I'd be fucking lying if I didn't say there are days where I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I know I'm old enough and I should be really ready and good at this, but I'm nervous.
You're
right?
Gonna be amazing, Mom.
And then I watch you with Cruz and watch you balance all of the work that you have and all the opportunities you don't say no to. You're like, I can do it. Taking care of like your litter of animals that you have. You know what I mean? And still helping take care of like your family, being there for all your friends in LA and in Kentucky.
Thank you.
And raising Cruz and going to all of his appointments and watching the healthiest, happiest little boy. It's like you would never know.
Yeah.
That you were going through this also.
Thank you so much.
So I think you're helping a lot of moms out
Cruz
there.
is definitely my driving force. Like, from getting out of the relationship, from staying strong here on out, from trying to set these boundaries, moving forward through the divorce, like everything. Like, Cruz is my driving force, because he deserves to see a mom that's happy.
Yeah.
And you can hear him in the background probably just playing and jumping around in the back.
Upstairs. Yeah.
But,
he deserves to have a dad that's happy.
Exactly. And that is the whole reason. Like, could you imagine if I don't want to cry, but like, I thought I was going to lose Jax for a while, meaning like, who knows if I was going to go into a bathroom, he was going to be laying on the floor, because he got things have been bad, obviously, why I had to leave in the first place. But after our separation, things really did get worse.
Yeah.
And if I didn't get production involved, And if I didn't get his sister involved and Ryan and Lori involved, like, he would have never went to rehab in the first place.
Agreed.
And I can proudly say that I did that because I loved him and I didn't want him to die.
Yeah.
And my son does not deserve that. I think he's so angry at me for making him go in the first place.
I think as most people are that go in not on their own choice.
Yeah.
I think, I
never.
I definitely have friends who have gone into facilities before.
Yeah.
And it's been not by court order, but it's been by like friends and family.
Yeah.
And they're always pissed off to begin with.
Yes. Because he always used to shame me. Yeah. He always used to be like, how dare you tell people about this? How dare you do this? And I was like, I couldn't handle it anymore.
Right.
I was scared.
You kept it a secret and tried by yourself. I
tried, but I couldn't do it by myself anymore. I had to get everybody involved, and thank God I did. And I will never regret that situation because me and my son deserve that. You know.
Yep.
Cruz is crawling up on my lap. Yeah, hi, buddy. But yeah, so there's just been a lot that I wanted to get off my chest, and I hope that people understand that I'm trying to navigate this the best that I can. You know, it's just been a hard journey, and I just hope it starts getting better.
Yeah. I mean, I do think I see the want for growth. I see the want for growth from him.
And I see that too.
I see the first steps because, like I said, the admitting of it.
Exactly.
I can't imagine what it felt like to say that out loud in any capacity, let alone in front of other people and for other people to hear it. However,
like, I
want to see the change.
Exactly.
And I want him to actually do the work.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I want more than anything.
Doing the work and admitting to a therapist.
Because I don't want to have...
that you actually do and not telling that therapist what they want to hear.
Exactly. Yeah. And I don't want to be this person that's like, oh, he only did this because, you know, he knows the valley's coming out and he knows how horrible he's going to look. Oh, he only did this because he had to go or he was going to lose his job. But like, that's the reality of my life right now. And I want this to be better for him. I want it to work out for him. But even supposedly sober for 70, I don't know how many days it's been since Thanksgiving, his actions just still...
It's still the anger and the lack of self-control.
Yeah, it's still that. And I feel like even sober, he still is going to have a lot of things to work on. I have a lot of things to work on. I'm not saying I don't. Like I'm going to have to go to therapy and do all kinds of things to get over everything I've been through to heal. It's because it's been a lot. So I'm not trying to always doubt him, but once you've been...
It's understandable.
Yeah.
Like, I think everyone absolutely understands.
Yeah.
Like, that you're like, I don't want to be the fool again.
Yeah.
Like, fool me once, you know, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me kind of a thing. And you don't want to keep being lied to and keep being disappointed and keep being hurt by the lies.
So now I have like a huge, now I have a huge guard up and like the walls are all around me. And like, I don't know if I can let him in again. Mm-hmm. And
it takes time.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, too,
we'll never be back together. I don't mean it like that.
Forever because of your son.
Yeah. But I have to protect him first and foremost. 100%. So that's like the biggest thing. And I'm trying my best. It's just, there's just so, I mean, I got like so many, I don't even feel like I need to go through every single lie that he told.
The 31 lies in a truth.
I have 31 lies written down that he told on Alex's podcast. So, like I've never, like he says, going to AA meetings. I don't know that he's ever been to an AA meeting. Yeah. I wish that he would. It's just like, you know, all this is just like a lot.
Yeah.
You know, but gosh, I really hope and pray that he will continue to keep trying.
And you're doing everything exactly right for you and for Cruz. And you deserve happiness. You deserve to be able to like wake up in the morning and not have like rage texts on your phone.
Exactly.
And you deserve to like go on a date if you want to, or go out with your friends because you have a nanny that can watch Cruz at night. You deserve to like be home with your son and watch movies all night if you want, and not have him to have Jax like texting you
and questioning what I'm doing 24/7.
Exactly.
And like Well, I've
You
seen
deserve to not have to look over your shoulder.
Exactly. I've seen a lot of people being like, you know what? The world owes Brittany an apology because Jax all last season tried to make it out like she had an issue whenever he was actually, snorting stuff in the bathroom.
Yep.
And it's like, thank you.
I forgot about
thank you
that.
because
I forgot how bad he was trying to shame you.
He was trying to shame me.
Make you out to be some like someone with like an alcohol issue.
And I was getting
we all knew.
And I was getting comments and stuff like, I love to go out with my friends and like take shots and stuff because tequila is the only thing I can actually drink. Yeah. But like, I'm a social drinker. Yeah. I don't sit at my house every day and drink with my, like, are you kidding me? Yeah. I have a son to take care of. Like, that is not what I do. Right. But he tried to portray me like that whenever the entire time he has been doing all of these things. Right. And I never, because we were married and he was my husband, did I ever turn around and say, look what you're doing. Look what you've done to me. Look what you are doing.
Or publicly.
Yes,
Especially publicly.
You
protected him.
Yes. And it's just like, my God. Like, he projected his issues on me so much. And I'm so glad that I'm finally past the part where, like, I have to think, like, because I used to think, like, oh, my God, what am I doing wrong? Like, I used to put myself down a lot and, like, really take in the words that he said like they were factual, when in reality I knew he was just projecting his own insecurities on me. And that is so difficult to like admit.
And that is the biggest difference between you now and you a few years ago. Was your worth. You don't you refuse to hear him spew this like venom.
Not happening anymore.
No. And he used to, I'm not going to say the things that he would say, but he would put you down. I mean, you've said it kind of like he would put you down and he would insult you or your body and things like that.
Yeah. Lost all my confidence.
And and it was like, if you tell it, it's that thing. If you tell a kid they're stupid over and over and over, the kid starts believing they're stupid.
Exactly.
And it was like you literally started believing that stuff. And and no matter how much we all told you, like, you're so beautiful, you're amazing, you're this, you had to like do it for you and pull yourself kind of out of it. And now, like, that's why I'm excited for everyone to watch this season, is like to see your resilience.
Thank you.
And watch your fucking glow up.
Thank you.
Like, she glowed up. No. Stella got her groove back.
It's just like, I used to get sick a lot. I used to break out in hives a lot because I dealt with stress on an every single daily basis. And I'm going through a lot right now in my life. But for some reason, I don't break out in hives anymore and I'm not sick anymore. Yeah. And even though I'm going through all this stress, it's because I don't have that stress in my everyday life anymore. Right. And that like
it's not a constant.
That tells its own story. Yep. Do you know what I mean?
You're right.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But, I am very proud of myself and I will never let a man treat me that way ever again. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not happening. So I've learned a lot from this. And again, me and Kristen both hope that, Jax can become a better person. I'm not trying to shame him. I'm honestly just trying to speak my truth because
and you deserve to.
It's not fair for him to say his supposed truth and half of the stuff he says are lies. And like I said, I've got 31 points that I could say and go through even more. But I think that we hit a bunch of them. Let's switch it for a second because I want to get into a positive at the end. I asked all my guests, because this is basically when reality hits. So, Kristen, if you can be on any other reality TV show, what would it be and why?
Traitors.
Traitors. Yeah, you would be good at that.
I now am like obsessed with it. Oh my God. I watched the finale last night. I haven't watched the reunion yet. I fell asleep. Luke finished it. I really fell in love with that show. But I know, trust me, I would campaign for myself. I've already mentioned it to our manager, but I'm about to have a baby. So I hope the show stays on for years.
So you can do it like a couple years.
Yeah. Like 3 years or something. Because, I can't imagine. But I never thought it would be that one, ever. But
I love it.
That's the one. For
okay, sure. So last question. If you had to list your favorite reality star right now, who would it be?
Ooh. Okay. Oh my God, I don't know. Because on Traitors, like, obviously I love Dylan Efron because he's so fucking smart and he just knew it. I loved Gabby Wendy. Uh-huh. and she just got married. Congratulations, Gabby. Oh my God, so exciting.
Congrats.
I really love the cast was just fantastic. But then if I get away from Traitors for a minute, I love Molly on Southern Charm.
Oh, wow.
So like I said, I just started watching Southern Charm, the new season, and I'm like, girl, can we do a crossover? Because I want to be friends with her. Like, she is a fun.
Oh, good. I haven't watched the recent episodes.
And I love
need to catch
Rob.
up.
I love Boston Rob on everything. I saw him on Deal or No Deal Island, then on Traitors, and now Luke. And Luke has me going back to the early Survivors when he was Rob was like in his early 30s, and like rewatching all of those.
Oh, I love it.
So.
Well, I love you, Kristen.
I love you too.
Thank you so much for being on this hard episode. But it was very important.
This podcast is turning a new leaf, girl.
Yes. So I'm proud to say that I am fully taking over when reality hits. No more going back and forth between Jax and I. It is 100% going to be mine. I'm rebranding, doing a whole photo shoot and everything on Sunday. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to have so many amazing guests on, talk about, relationships and just all the different things that we're going through. The new season. I mean, there's going to be so much motherhood, parenting, co-parenting, going through a divorce. I mean, there's so much that I could talk about, and now it's just going to be mine. So when reality hits with Brittany Cartwright. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. I love y'all. See you next week when it's just me.
Pluto TV has all the shows and movies you love streaming for free. That means laughter is free with gut-busting comedies like The Neighborhood, Boomerang, and Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Bueller.
Mystery is free with countless cases to crack from Criminal Minds, Tracker, and Matlock.
I'm a lawyer, like the old TV show.
And thrills are free with heart-pumping hits like The Walking Dead and Pulp Fiction.
Correctamundo.
Feel the free Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.